Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Great to be back with you, y'all, on a Monday evening here on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. We have truckers. The caravan has officially taken off. You can see it launching from Virginia Beach, Virginia this afternoon. It's on my Twitter feed right at the top, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, C-H-R-I-S-K-R-O-K. That's C-H-R-I-S-K-R-O-K. So we have a large contingency of truckers headed to the border. They're going to go to 3 places. I've retweeted it on my Twitter feed if you'd like to share this with everybody. In fact, it's right at the top. It's called Take Our Border Back. And the website, the official website, is actually, I want to go to that and give it to you right now. I'll give it to you in a second. Here it is, takeourborderback.com, takeourborderback.com. They're heading to, they're going to go to Arizona, then California, San Ysidro in Arizona. In California, they're going to go to a port there. And then they're coming here to Eagle Pass, the epicenter of the national controversy. The epicenter of the national controversy in Eagle Pass. And that's where they're going to take their stand. It all happens on February 3rd. So if I look at the calendar, just to give you and I, and it's Saturday. It's less than a week from today. Saturday. This coming Saturday. They will be there. Going through all 3. So this is going to be huge, y'all. All right? Meantime, Governor Abbott today tweeting out Texas has transported, and this is on my Twitter feed as well, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, C-H-R-I-S-K-R-O-K, at Chris Crock Show. Follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. Just click on the public figure, click like, and jump in. Texas has transported over 102,000 illegals to sanctuary cities, Governor Abbott says. Overwhelmed cities, Texas border towns should not bear the brunt of Biden's open border policies. Our transportation mission will continue until Biden secures the border. So we are going to continue dumping illegals in these sanctuary cities and states, which is absolutely what we should do. Meantime, Trump gave his backing openly to Abbott, who's already endorsed Trump. Trump is urging states to do what I've been urging them to do. Send your National Guardsmen and your troopers down to Texas and work hand in hand with the state to combat this invasion, he says, and he promises to do that as president. Now there's also questions of violence and a civil war. Here is this morning Governor Kristi Noem from South Dakota on Fake News CNN with Dana Bash. Actually, I can't play this one because we're not in a CNN affiliate, but I will tell you this. Dana Bash asked South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, are you worried about potential violence? Are you worried about potential violence? And she, of course, brushed that aside. But CNN wants us worried and Americans worried about potential violence. Meantime, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick was talking at the border, and here's what he said.
Don't mess with Texas. We're serious about securing our border, and I'm glad the president stood down on Friday and did not confront us. That would be the wrong thing to do. We don't want a confrontation, and they shouldn't want a confrontation.
Well,
we're just doing our job. Let us do our job.
Because, I mean, what is this going to turn into a civil war? I mean, you've got the Texas rights versus federal rights, both sides with guns.
And we believe constitutionally we are right. We have a right to defend our citizens. We have a right to defend this country. Okay. And we're just doing the job. This whole idea of Shelby Park, that they would come there, is just ludicrous. Look, these young men and women who serve our National Guard and our DPS, these are the best of the best. Why would he want to send anyone down to confront them? Yeah. I'm glad they stepped down, but they need to do the job. And the only reason he's paying attention now is because of the election in November.
And, of course, the Daily Mail saying in its headline, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick slamming Biden. He says the invasion should be stopped of illegals and calls it a cartel army, which he's right. And then he's asked if war would break out between Texas National Guard and Border Patrol. So lots of people mentioning civil war, violence. And I want to ask you about this and see what you think on this. I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any chance of a civil war or violence because Joe Biden has lost. Do you understand that we've already won? As of right now, we have won. As of right now, we have won this battle because they have stood down, and Joe has said he's not sending any of his feds in to mess with us. So we have won. Meantime, our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, says that he has, and I read these demands late Friday night, that he's demanding the federal government show plat lines and everything about how it somehow has a right to control a state park when it doesn't. And he has till, I think, February 4th to prove this. Ken Paxton has thrown down on that. So here's the deal. We are winning. And what I think we should do is have all of the 25 other states that support us send their guardsmen down now. Send your troopers down now so that we can all be together. And I think we need to do the same thing of taking over the borders and everything like that. Now, stand by on this. I'm going to get to more of it in a second, but I want to ask you these questions. It's time for you to chime in right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How do you think the trucker caravan at the border will play out? Like Canada? Like J6? Because, they want that to happen. You know that they're going to put in FBI people in this caravan. They're going to. How do you think it'll play out, the trucker caravan? Do you think it'll play out like Canada, like January 6th, where they'll set us up? Or do you think it'll expose our open borders to the mainstream media? And people are saying, well, they're not going to cover it. Well, they already did. CBS 11, I saw it. So I'm like, yeah, this is it. Second of all, do you want the 24 other states that are backing Governor Abbott in standing against Biden's invasion to send down their guardsmen and state troopers to stand with us at the border? And do you think this could turn into a civil war? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. How do you think this trucker caravan at the border is going to play out, like Canada, like J6? Will it expose our open borders to the mainstream media? Will it work, in your opinion? It's time to sound off right now. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And do you want the 24 other states backing us, or 25 other states backing us, to send their troops now and their DPS now, as I do? And do you think this could turn into a civil war? I don't. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about violence. We are winning, and we have won. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So, no, this is fantastic. It's working. We have scared him away. He stood down. Biden said there won't be any confrontation, and there is none, because they don't want one. You know why? Because they will lose. They will lose. Do you understand? He's afraid to do anything because they will lose. The world will see it. Most importantly, our country will see it all over this country and see that Joe wants this illegal invasion that nobody wants, save 18% of the population of the radical far leftists that don't want any borders. So, no violence concerns on my end. No civil war concerns on my end. Anybody injecting violence or concern of a civil war is trying to stoke fear and flames and undermine what we're doing. No. But I would not put it past, I know our FBI, I know our intelligence services, they seek to destroy anything that is anywhere in the realm of supporting President Donald J. Trump. This trucker caravan is absolutely something they're going to try to label as J6ers. This is something they want to treat like Canada. This is. Chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you, or I should say, how do you think the trucker caravan at the border is going to play out? Like Canada, where they arrested all the truckers and cuffed them and called them terrorists? And, there's a couple of them, several of them that were thrown in jail, and they're still in jail to this day, and they've never been charged with anything. That's how bad Canada is now. And that's what Joe would love to do. And do you think it'll work? Do you think it'll work? The trucker caravan, I do. So 800-288-WBAP. I have a bunch of other things, too, I want to talk to you about in this. We have there is a tremendous amount of terrorists, folks, captured at the border. But worse, there is a large amount of terrorists who have been let into this country, and then a year later we figure out they're terrorists, and they're here, and we have to go find them. There's shocking new information that came out from the Daily Caller exclusively today. Coming up next to tell you all about it on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
The Biden administration has really, truly abdicated its responsibility to secure the border and enforce the laws. Texas, very simply, is securing the border. And so we put up the razor wire that you were talking about, Bill, and we put up all these barricades that actually have denied illegal entry. And as you pointed out also in that screen, there are criminals coming across our border. Texas has a right as a state to stop criminals from coming into our state. What Texas is doing is what Americans expect to be done.
I have some very, very scary things to share with you, and I wish it weren't so, but it sure as heck is. Are you ready? This is a Daily Caller exclusive, and there's two different exclusives, and this is gonna should scare the crap out of all of us and make us all realize how vulnerable we are. Exclusive from the Daily Caller. This is on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. Terrorists caught illegally crossing the border was allowed to roam free throughout our country for a year. Repeat, a terrorist from Al-Shabaab, which is the Somalian offshoot of Al-Qaeda. Al-Shabaab, terrorist organization, was a known member of the Somali terror group Al-Shabaab, came here in the San Ysidro, California point. Border Patrol checked them. Now remember something. They only have 72 hours to hold every illegal. And Joe has allowed 9 million to flow into this country in 3 years. So guess what? We can't find out anything on them because we don't have the time to do it, because Joe Biden says, come, all you illegals from everywhere, 171 countries, invade, feast on us like vampires. We're laying down. Feast, suck us dry. So what just happened is a terrorist was caught at the southern border and released into this country, where he roamed freely for a year before being arrested in Minnesota just days ago. He's a confirmed member of the Somali terror group Al-Shabaab. Confirmed member. ICE nabbed him in Minneapolis a year after he was allowed in. Do you understand? The terrorists that come in are going, go ahead. They're being stamped. Go ahead. And then, oh, crap! A year later, oh, there's terrorists in here. Remember when they sent us that thing all over the country saying, hey, we got 13 illegals from, from Uzbekistan, a terrorist nation. And we let them in, but they're actually hardcore serious terrorists. Never found them. I got some very frightening things to share with you on this. Do you think, I want you to chime in right now, do you think the terrorists who are going to do the next 9/11, are already in our country planning this attack after coming over our border sometime these past 3 years under Joe Biden? You think they're already here and have been here for some time in the past 3 years? And do you feel safe with Joe Biden's wide open borders for 3 years now? Do you feel safe? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Continuing on, a retired ICE field director spoke out about this. We continue to witness alarming instances where terrorists are able to freely roam the United States for months after being released at the border before their criminal terrorist histories come to light. We had 172 terrorist watch list suspects trying to enter in 2023. 172 in a year that we know of. Do you understand that for 4 years, from 2017 to 2020, we only had 30 in 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 4 years. We had 30. 10 a year is the average for 4 years straight. And now under Joe Biden, 172 in 1 year. Do you see this? A terrorist invasion is happening. Time for you to sound off right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. 3 lines open. Let's go to Bill in Pottsboro. You are on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Bill.
Hey, I love this. So, Greg Abbott's done a great job sending these illegals to all these sanctuary cities. Here's what he needs to do. Every terrorist that we apprehend, all these people, because we can't incarcerate them, we can't do anything. We got to turn them loose within 72 hours. I think it's about a 24-hour drive to D.C. I would take a bus full of those people and drop them off right in front of the White House.
It's funny. That's what listener CJ is saying on the Facebook Live right now at the Facebook Chris Crock Show page, at Chris Crock Show. Click on the public figure, click like, scroll down. She said that. CJ just said that. Bus them to the White House and then leave them there. You said the same thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would send bus after bus after bus and literally just drop them off right in front. Here you go. You wanted them, you got them.
You mean the terrorists or the illegals or all of them?
Oh, I would make sure that the terrorists got a one-way ticket there for sure, but all the illegals too. I'd send illegals there as well. But certainly all the ones that are criminals.
If we send the illegals there, there's bound to be terrorists in there because Joe's letting them in and not even knowing it. So absolutely.
Yep, 100%.
I appreciate your call and I appreciate your idea. But by the way, my question here: do you think the terrorists that are going to do the next 9/11 are already here and are planning their next attack because Joe Biden's let them in the past 3 years? And do you feel safe with his wide open borders for 3 years in a row now?
I 100% believe that they're already here. I believe they've been here for a while, and I believe that – no, I don't feel safe about it, other than the fact that we're in Texas and, we're all a bunch of rednecks here. So you got to be real careful. They have to go someplace else where they have very, very strict gun control laws like Chicago. That's where they need to pull that garbage because they won't make it very long here in the state of Texas.
I actually think they're not here to be in a shootout. I think they're going to make one of our largest cities in America uninhabitable for a half-life of 50 years with a dirty bomb. I talked to a former DHS spokesperson who's an expert in biological and chemical and nuclear weapons, and he said, I asked him, can you smuggle in a dirty bomb, the materials, the raw nuclear materials, spent nuclear materials, to make a dirty bomb in a backpack? Yes. Can you smuggle in ricin or anthrax in a backpack? Yes. Can you smuggle in biohazards that are deadly in a backpack? You name it. Yes. So, and Jason Jones, our former Texas DPS captain in charge of border operations, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence at the border for DPS, he literally said that they're taking 20 terrorists in a cell, and they're going to this way, to that way, to this way, so that they catch 2 of them. There's another 18, and they're not going to break up the cell. So there we are. Bill, I got to roll, but I appreciate your great call tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think the terrorists who are going to do the next 9/11 are already in our country planning this attack after coming over our border sometime these past 3 years under Biden? And do you feel safe with Joe's wide-open borders for 3 years now? I've got more, too, because there's a lot more damning thing about the terrorists that he has let in, including the one from al-Shabaab, the al-Qaeda shoot-off out of Somalia. And then also the border agents nabbed 50 illegal aliens on the terror watch list in just 3 months. All the details on all this, plus your call next on the Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
This bill normalizes 5,000 people a day coming in. 5,000 people a day is over 1.8 million a year. That's called an invasion. By the way, under Joe Biden, we've had 9.6 million. So the great Republican compromise is we're for 2/3 of Joe Biden's open borders. We'll let in 6 million instead of 9 million. This makes utterly no sense.
Our Senator Ted Cruz, the one that actually is right, not Cornyn, on the border deal they're trying to pass through. We're getting to that next. But right now we caught another terrorist who was let in. He's an al-Shabaab member, which is an al-Qaeda affiliate in Somalia. We at the border, he turned himself in. We said, come on in. And then a year later, oh, crap, you're a terrorist. You're an actual confirmed member of a terrorist group. Confirmed member. And then a year after letting him in, he was free to go about the country, rape, murder, kill. Joe's like, kill us, please. I want more people dead. I want more illegals, and I want more citizens dead. 172 terror watch list suspects attempting to enter the United States illegally during the fiscal year 2023, compared to 10 a year for 4 years in a row before that. Do you understand? Before Joe Biden became president, the average was 10 per year over a 4-year period from 17 to 20. Joe comes in, invasion starts. Now the average was 172 fiscal year 2023, 50 illegals on the terror watch list just in 3 months, October, November, December. 3 months, 50 freaking confirmed terrorists. And a bunch we don't catch, like this guy from al-Shabaab. Do you think the terrorists who are going to do the next 9/11 are already in our country planning the attack after coming over our border sometime these past 3 years under Biden? As I do. And do you feel safe with Joe Biden's wide open borders for 3 years now? I sure as hell don't. And we all believe, hopefully most of us believe, the terrorists are here, they're planning their strike, and it's going to be worse than 9/11. It's not going to be mild. It's not going to be gun battle firing. It's going to be boom. Remember, these people are they got lots of time, and they're creative, and this is all they do. This is their job. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Gail in Dallas, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Hello, Gail.
Hi. I want to say a couple of things quickly if I can. I have a theory on what's going on with all these Chinese illegals that are coming in. unaccompanied and just men, military age. And you couple that with the fact that I just found out a couple of days, 3 or 4 days ago, about this Chinese-owned lab in California that has vials of HIV, different viruses.
Ebola, all sorts of horrible things, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think those men that came here suspiciously, and there's thousands of them here now, and they've been coming up to California as well. And I think that's been their manifesto to carry out that within the country, because that way there's no destruction. It just quietly everybody croaks. We're asleep at the wheel. And the government's not worried about it, Chris, I don't believe, because I also found out a few days ago from my son, who's well-informed in a lot of areas. And he said, did you know about this underground 5-acre bunker that I'm not going to say where it is on the air, but I researched it myself. And it's fully equipped with survival for a long, long period of time. And who is it for? It's for our government officials. And any of their cronies or whoever, I guess, that wants to survive while all hell breaks loose above the surface. It's guarded by military, but it's supposedly not widely known. I mean, I know a lot of the information, but I didn't know anything about that. And I haven't met a single person that is aware of it. 5 acres equipped with recreational facilities.
What
food,
state?
survival.
What state? That's all I'll ask.
Colorado.
Okay. I wonder if that's part of NORAD or something. But regardless, what do you think about the fact that we had 172 terrorists in 2023 versus 10 per year for 4 years before Joe Biden took office? What do you think about that?
It's obvious. It's obvious.
And what do you think about the Al-Shabaab confirmed member allowed in this country for a year to kill people if he wanted to, and then caught because they realized they messed up?
Well, I called the FBI probably 15 years ago, and a friend of mine was scared to call them, but she had firsthand knowledge from her cousin that these Middle Eastern people were meeting. This cousin of hers was married to one of these guys, and they meet secretly all the time with the curtains closed. They made the wife, this one guy's wife, all speaking in Arabic or whatever they speak, and they locked her in the closet. And that same guy, she said he had a gun in somewhere on his person or in something, and that he's not supposed to have a gun. He's here illegally. And so they said, can you call and inform the FBI, which I did. And I talked to him several times and told them about where the location was. I never heard a thing about it. And as far as I know, that guy's still floating around somewhere.
All right. Well, here's the deal. We're having a lot more terrorists coming because of this open border, and that's putting us at risk. And I do not feel safe. I bet you don't either. Gail, thanks for your call. We've got several lines open for you at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Time for you to chime in and tell us what you think about this 172 terrorists in 1 year, including terrorists allowed to be free and roam about the country for a year before they're finally figured out and caught as a member of Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab, in case you might forget, they killed U.S. killed 3 of them in a self-defense airstrike January 21st at the request of the Somali government. So that's 8 days ago. The terror group also carried out the 2013 attack on Westgate Mall in Nairobi, killing 67 people. And remember, they are an Al-Qaeda offshoot. So, and they were here, and they are here. That's not the only one. Meantime, Border Patrol apprehended 50 illegals on the terror watch list between October and December. That literally is, can you believe this? 50 in 3 months, compared to 10 per year for 4 years straight before Joe Biden took office. This is what he's doing to this country. He is destroying it. And they're going to spin this when a big terror attack happens. They're going to somehow try to blame it on Trump. But this has all been happening for 3 years now. This is really bad. I wanted to also get into this border bill that the Republicans, some of them, like John Cornyn, support, and how much of a disaster it is. Want to get that right now. James Lankford slams. This is the Oklahoma senator who is the chief negotiator and came up with this idea. This is great. We're never going to get this again. This is an amazing deal. We got him over a barrel. Come on, guys. Let's sign this. John Cornyn, I tell you, this is a good deal. We have leverage. We have real leverage here. We got to strike now. We have less than a year here. We can do this. This can really make a difference. Really? No, not at all. In fact, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3, I'm going to give you details on this. It's worse than anything we've been told about this border deal. Trump and wise Republicans are trying to kill this now. Secondarily, I want to get into impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas, if you think we should do that. Oh, and by the way, for James Lankford coming out with this bogus proposal that would give amnesty to millions, you have to hear what the Oklahoma Republican Party has done in response to their senator, one of their senators, James Lankford, who came up with this. What they've done to him in response to this amnesty deal is wonderful and kind of shocking in a good way. All that's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3 on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3. Chris Crock Show. All right, the Republican Party of Oklahoma has ceased all support for one of its star senators, James Lankford, U.S. Senator James Lankford, who proposed this amnesty deal. They have literally, last week, the Oklahoma Republican Party State Committee adopted a resolution condemning and censuring Lankford for this amnesty deal. Amen. Amen. It's amnesty. Breitbart reporting this afternoon. First of all, our nation's foreign-born population is set to surpass 50 million this year for the first year in American history. 35,000 illegals arrive at the U.S.-Mexican border every week. This deal would allow 35,000 illegals every week. You hear this? 35,000 illegals every week. It also would get expedited workers' permits to the illegals to get jobs taken away from us and make us pay for their lawyers for their illegal children. Heck no, I should say hell no. Hell no. Late last week, they kicked him off. They reprimanded him. The party did for James Lankford. And Trump, meanwhile, is calling around telling folks, don't vote for this. House Republicans, egged on by Donald Trump, say they are already planning to shut it down. Amen. Absolutely amen. In addition to this, it's not going to happen, Trump says. I'll fight it all the way. Amen to that. Ted Cruz ripped it. You heard it in the last segment. And Lankford said, the internet rumors, let all the people are running on. It's absurd for me to agree to 5,000 people a day, but that's just what it is. In fact, here we are in the Wall Street Journal today, that the daily average of illegals will be 5,000 daily if it happens for more than a week, or 8,500 in a single day. So look at this. Joe Biden can allow in 5,000 to 8,500 for like 6 days straight, 5 days straight, and then the sixth or seventh day, shut it down to like 4,000. And then he resets, and then do it again and again and again. Do you trust Joe Biden to not take advantage of this stupid, pathetic deal that sucks? That John Cornyn's telling you, we got to take this deal now. Guys, we got a real deal here. We got him over a barrel. It makes you want to vomit in your mouth, doesn't it? So producer Garrett the First says, worse than that. I agree. Makes you do other things that I can't say on this air. They're unspeakable. Biological disasters. Okay, so here's my questions for you. And by the way, Alejandro Mayorkas impeachment is closer now. They may be voting as early as tomorrow to impeach him. He's accused of a willful and systemic refusal to comply with the law and high crimes and misdemeanors. Here's my questions for you. I want you to chime in right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you want Republicans to pass the bipartisan, quote-unquote, border bill, I should say, that's being proposed, or should they kill the bill, as I think and Trump thinks? And do you think Republicans should impeach Alejandro Mayorkas? I got to tell you on the impeachment, that I think it's too late and it's pathetic and it's lame. I think they should have done it. I agree with my friend Jason Jones, the retired DPS captain who oversaw border operations, counterterrorism, and counterintelligence, who now is a Newsmax border correspondent. He says it's completely pathetic. They should have done that a year or two ago. I agree. So, no. Do you want Republicans to pass the bipartisan border bill that's being proposed, or should they kill it? And do you think Republicans should impeach Alejandro Mayorkas? 800-288-WBAP is our number. Call in right now. Sound off now at 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday said to one of these Republicans in an interview, it was Langford actually, she said, why give Joe Biden this deal in an election year? He gets to take a victory lap that he's gotten something done. You know what he'll do? Hey, I fixed the border problem. I got those knucklehead, unrepentant, racist Republicans to change their mind. Look what I did. I healed the border. They broke the border. James Langford must be being bribed by the, he must be being bribed by the Chinese or by Biden or something. I'm not saying he is, but it's just kind of like, what he must be. I mean, what's going on? They got a picture of him with a goat? 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Do you want Republicans to pass the bipartisan border bill that's being proposed, or should they kill it? And do you think Republicans should impeach Alejandro Mayorkas? Too late, and don't pass the bill. Boom. In a nutshell. That's what I say. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So, absolutely not. We don't want any deal. This is not a deal. It's a way to make Joe Biden look presidential and to win his election, to help him. I think that's Taylor Swift's job to try to get Joe Biden elected, not ours. I mean, my gosh. Wait. Hold on a second, producer Garrett. What? She made cookies that said Biden Harris? They look delicious, producer Garrett says. That's the problem. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. The icing was beautiful. Yeah, because she didn't do it. She didn't do it. She paid somebody. Oh, look at my cookies. Yeah. Why don't you give the person who made them credit, right? Anyway, typical liberal. Taking credit for somebody else's work. All right. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. By the way, make it a preset. Iran's terror proxies hit the United States Tower 22 base, which is actually in Jordan, in northeastern Jordan, and just south of the Syrian border and just west of the Iraq border. Iraq border. And Joe Biden's fecklessness and his cowardice has led to 3 of our soldiers being killed and dozens of them being seriously wounded. 800-288-WBAP is our number. We'll get to that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show.